All right, welcome to Mike's one-shot pinball reviews. Here I am. I'm going to be reviewing Stern Ghostbusters Pro with the 1.05 software. Giving you a little bit of a first impression of this game, my preliminary review. The game's been around for a little bit less than a week, and a bunch of us here in the club have been playing it and still learning it. So this is just based on kind of a shallow bit of experience with the game, but I also think it's really important to show first experiences with some of these machines because if this is out on location or people don't have a chance to really spend a tremendous amount of time with the game, their first impression really does count. Is the game approachable? Is it fun? Is it interesting? How well does it use the theme and all that? So I'm going to go into that and give you my opinion. And of course, you are entitled to disagree, and that's perfectly cool. Okay, so anyway, this is Stern's Ghostbusters. This is themed after the original movie, not any of the sequels. And obviously, it's pretty beloved by certain demographic groups. This playfield is really interesting and very compact. There's a lot of stuff crammed onto the playfield, which I think is both good and bad. Um, let's talk about the basic shots. I'm going to play a game pretty soon, but I'll talk about the basic shots. There's a few interesting things about this game. It has two in lanes in addition to the standard out lanes. So having two in lanes means that the slingshots are moved in closer than you'd normally find them. And this tends to create an interesting dynamic here. You've got your standard out lanes, you've got your dual in lanes. You have your basic shots, the left orbit, left ramp, right orbit, right ramp. So the ramps are a little bit off, and then you've got a bunch of shots on the side and then in the middle. Um, the main feature of this game is the Slimer, which is this sliming thing, and he goes up and down when you hit the ghost target, which is smack in the middle. It's a very dangerous shot, but it also creates one of the more fun aspects of the game. You shoot the ghost, the Slimer comes down. Every time you hit the Slimer hard enough, he slimes you, and what happens is one of the main shots here, indicated by the big arrows, turns slightly green, and if you hit that shot, you complete all of the slime shots, it lights a super jackpot shot. Um, the Let's go over some of the other shots. You have your three captive balls here, or actually four. One of them's already been kicked up, but you hit those multiple times, and this starts different things like lighting the jackpot, playfield multipliers, add a ball, and a feature called storage facility, which I'll talk about. And you've got your proton pack here. These three targets that I'm not totally sure, but I think they also have to do with the playfield multipliers. I think. Or they add equipment, something like that. This is one of the things I haven't really researched a ton of. You've got a captive ball here. This is called the library shot. When you hit that, it unlocks a number of features. One of the features that this thing unlocks is called the Scolari Brothers, which are these two pop-up targets in the middle, kind of the equivalent of the trolls in Medieval Madness. They pop up and kind of basically block your playfield with a sucker shot. They're kind of annoying and dangerous, but luckily they're not as big as the other things in other games. Let's see. And what else do we have? We've got the pop bumpers in the middle, and then, of course, we've got rollovers up at the top. Let's talk a little bit about the basic shots here. The basic shots, you've got a little subway-looking thing here called the Librarian, or I don't know what this is called, but Librarian is one of the modes. Spook Librarian, a bunch of other things. This is where you collect your extra ball. There's a feature called Tobin's Spirit Guide, and that is basically one of the random awards in the game. And you can add a ball if you shoot there during multi-ball after completing some other things. So you've got that. You've got this left captive ball setup, which I said does those other things. And then you've got your left orbit, which sends it to the up there to the rollovers. You've got your left ramp, which comes up and loops around, and it can be dropped off in one of two places. It can be diverted here to this hole or sent to the in lane. When it's diverted to the hole, that's called the storage facility, and that's one of the main multi-balls in the game. So the objective is to light storage facility, this green arrow there, and then send the ball up here. You have to do it 3 times at least initially in order to start storage facility multi-ball. And that's the main multi-ball in the game, and it is not easy to get to, unlike other games. We had this thing in the club, and we put 123 games on it, and we only started multi-ball 5 times. So less than 4 or 5% of the time are you likely to get multi-ball, unless you get really good at the game and you start to, be able to kind of just be precise with things. Then you have this right orbit shot, which will send the ball completely around, or it can, go up there to the rollovers. And then you have your right ramp, which is your PKE shot here. And this goes up, and it's interesting because it goes up the other way, the ramp shot, but it goes up and then comes back down. But there's 3 switches there, so depending upon how much force you hit it, it can cross over 1, 2, or 3 switches before rolling back down. That's a very, very narrow, very hard shot. It's really quite clever how it's been designed, but it's also very frustrating because it's not easy to hit. And I think those are the basic shots. The pop bumpers work very similar to the way they work in Game of Thrones, where it's like a slot machine. Each pop bumper represents 1 reel, and every time there's a hit, it changes different little random features that it can give you. So the pop bumpers can give you all kinds of stuff, from playfield multipliers to lighting the extra ball, to lighting storage facility, to increasing jackpots, a whole bunch of stuff. The exits from the pop bumpers, will you enter the pop bumpers primarily through the rollovers up top, or you can shoot straight up the middle into them, and they can exit straight down the middle or off to the side here into the right orbit, which will often feed you to the flippers. There's a number of dangerous areas on this machine, actually a lot. This game has a lot more sucker shots and a lot more. It's a very quick game, depending on how you set it up. But we've got this game set up pretty much stock from the factory. The out lanes are set right in the middle, which I think is a little bit too frustrating. I actually think that if we get a chance, we may close them up a little bit, just because it's just. And there's some people that have even put a post in between the 2 flippers, because when the ball exits these pop bumpers, it's quite often a drain right down the middle. This is a good game where nudging is really critical, and shot accuracy is absolutely critical. This game reminds me a lot of Bram Stoker's Dracula, where if you miss what you're shooting for, you're going to lose the ball. It's going to go straight down the middle. It also reminds me a lot of Star Trek The Next Generation, where if the ball hits the slingshots, there's like an 87.9% chance it's going to hit one of these outlanes. Especially on this game, where the slingshots are so close together, the ball will go and out. It'll go right out to the outlanes. So it's this game has a lot of pitfalls and a lot of things you want to avoid. There's a lot of sucker shots. And because there's so many things to shoot at crammed here into the playfield, things are very tight. Kind of reminds me of X-Men. There's some shots here that are just really hard. This left orbit's very narrow. The right ramp is extremely narrow. The widest shot is the right orbit, and that's about average sized. Everything else is way tighter than average. So there's a lot of stuff here to shoot at, but there's also a lot of dangerous shots, and if you miss them, you're going to be pissed off. So you've got these 2 stand-ups in between the orbit and the left ramp shots, and because they're not posts, which tend to divert balls laterally, those will send them right back in your face, and it's easy to lose the ball quite a bit. So let's start up a game, play through a game, and then I'll talk a little bit more about it. Basically the main thing with this game is you start. The modes are called scenes. So you start a scene, and the scene tells you what shots to shoot for. Basically your standard shoot at whatever's blinking. So
welcome to the Ghostbusters, rookie.
There's several different skill shots. You can use a left flipper and change the rollover things up there for a skill shot, and that'll give you some points, bonus multiplier, and I think something else. It does different things depending upon which one you select, whether you get plus 3 million super jackpot, light multipliers, or plus 5 bonus X. You use the right flipper, you change this blue arrow that moves around, and that if you can get the ball to the flippers before you hit too much and shoot the blinking blue shot.
Choose your skill shot.
It will start a scene, and the scenes vary depending upon what shot you take. Each scene basically has some lit shots, and the value of those shots are pretty lucrative. So scenes are where you really score a lot of points. In fact, scenes are probably, you can score more points going after scenes than you can with the multi-ball. And the multi-ball is much harder to get to. So it's an interesting kind of design here. So let's give it a try. So I'm going to send it around, try to stop it and start a scene. So I did. The ball's trapped right up there. So I started the Who Brought the Dog scene. You can see the 3 shots that are lit in order to complete the scene. Oh, see, that's what I was talking about. Brutal. See those ramps are really tight. They're really tight, and if you bat the ball around a bit, you're gonna lose it. This game is really gonna teach you to be very disciplined and controlled.
Choose your skill shot.
Or very lucky. So let's go for a top.
You're up, rookie.
Doing those repetitive ramps really don't give you a whole lot of points either. So you'll notice something. I didn't start a scene, and I was just batting the ball around, and there really wasn't anything lit. This is one of my complaints about this game, is it's hard to tell exactly what to shoot for. You see the ghost is lit.
Choose your skill shot.
But that's a very dangerous shot. So early on in the game, it's hard to tell what to go for. I think they will probably fix this in later things. Now I'll go for the ghost. See, that's the one thing that's lit. Oh, and another thing I didn't talk about is you see the little circles with the slash through them? Those are ghosts. Each time you hit one of those lit circles, you collect a ghost. And depending upon how many ghosts you have, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, they give you different things. At 20, they like the Spirit Guide, which is a random award. At 40, they like Negative Reinforcement, which is the video mode in the game. At 60, they give you a feature called Loopin' Supers, which is where you can loop the Super Jackpot over and over. It's a chance to get humongous points, especially if you stack it with the bonus multiplier. So you can collect ghosts, and you know that's kind of like a little follow the yellow brick road thing that gets more. It's like on Walking Dead, you know, you're killing zombies, you're just racking up those ghosts. But you can see right now, what do we shoot for? Well, you can just collect ghosts, but the only thing really lit is the ghost target, but it's so dangerous hitting it. But let's see if I can get it without losing the ball and show you the Slimer. There we go. Okay. So the Slimer, and I've been slimed. So you see the green. Oh! So you see the green thing. If I put that out, it'll light Super Jackpot. So let's see if I can do that. Nope. Not always easy to get control. Okay. Now that I've gotten all the Slimers, the Super Jackpot is lit. The Super Jackpot amount will go up, and you see when those beepings, there's various hurry-ups that if you could hit, you can get a little bit extra points. I tend to ignore them. So we'll go for the Super Jackpot. You can do post-transfers fairly easy on this game. And then just... brick it! Brick it again! Ah! This is what happened when I'm yapping away. You can get a lot of points on the bonus. Bonus, you don't want to tilt on this game because bonus is really pretty lucrative. So you have 25 million. It was over 6 million for bonus on that one ball.
Ready for some overtime?
Okay, so let's keep it going. I'm gonna put the ball around a little, see what we can get going. There's our Slimer. I'm gonna go for starting a scene. That will stack with the Slimer, I believe. So there's one of the objectives. Oh, got it. There's the other. Okay. Oh, it didn't register. I would have ended the scene there, but it did. The switch did not register. A Slimer. Two Slimers, so now you see I've got two slimes. I'm gonna try to end the mode by shooting that. Once you end the scene, you can start another scene. I think when you see him blinking, if you hit that, that's the next scene you can do.
This man has no dick.
So I think it already started Spook Central. Okay. I've got storage facility lit. I'm gonna see all my shots are to the left, so I'll do a post transfer. This is where it gets dangerous. Okay. Flirting with disaster. I need that left ramp. Alright. Here we go. There it is. Oh, it didn't register! What's up with that?
Extra ball is lit.
So I got one of the three storage facilities. See what I mean? Hard to do anything about that. Alrighty. Down. Oh. Come on, stop it. So I restarted the scene so it picks up where it left off. Oh, that was nice. Got storage facility number 2. Oh, I started multi-ball. This is number 3. Okay. So now this is the main multi-ball in the game. Brothers just denied me big time. Oh! Trying to do the add-a-ball.
The extra ball.
I think. Okay. Oh! Nice jackpot. Started another mode. So the PKE.
Get the super jackpot.
So the left ramp will be lit for super jackpot. Bonus, holy crap. See, the pop-uppers give out tremendous amounts of rewards. Oh, denied! Oh! Should watch this bonus. Woo! 133 million bonus. And imagine if I'd have gotten bonus held, because that's one of the random awards there on the thing. Wow. That was a good ball. All right. Let's go.
Choose your skill shot.
Oh, that sucks.
Hey, watch it, rookie.
Look at it. Look at all the random awards there. That's a lot of crap for one shot.
Extra ball.
Oh! See what I mean? It's really brutal.
Do it again.
Take that. Oh, come on, no! Oh! That was really hard. That was painful. Man, started out so good. You see how I just blew everything? Really frustrating. Thank you. All right. Multi-ball again. All right, let's see what I can do. This is pretty odd to get. Pretty cool to get. That easy. So the score will just pop up on every
You are superior.
So, a pretty good game. I made some stupid mistakes there, but I think this was an atypical game. It's hard to consistently do that well, but I can see the more I practice at it and the more I do it, I think. Oh, 451 million. I mean, there's people that are scoring billions and billions and billions by using certain tricks in the game. So there you have it. It's a fun game. I think if you have playing this on location, you'd spend a lot of money before you begin to appreciate it. This is not an easily approachable game. And that's one of the things that I think... upload this to YouTube, they're going to get me for copyright infringement because of that stupid tune. Anyway, fun game, very challenging. Here's what what I like about it is it really does force you to be very precise with your shots. You can't just bat the ball around and expect to do well in this machine. I understand completely why a lot of people find it very, very frustrating. It's a tough game. The layout's very tough. The shots are very narrow. The out lanes are very drainy. The center's very drainy. There's so many sucker shots. There's still a few things I think they need to work out in the software. A lot of times when you're playing, it's hard to know what you're even supposed to be shooting for, especially before a scene starts. But I can see, people say this game is really hard, and I can see that. And my feeling is, for some people, it is going to be. It's not a game for everybody. There's some people that are not going to like it, and I can certainly appreciate that. There's some people that will like it. If you want to be a very technical player and you want to be punished if you're not precise, this game will definitely help you either get really pissed off or get really good. One of my gripes is, for being such a tough game, I don't know if that lends itself to this theme. Like, The Walking Dead was a very tough game, but that theme was tough, and it was kind of unforgiving. I look at Ghostbusters as kind of a comedy, a fun, lighthearted thing, and so I would expect the implementation of the theme to be a little bit more approachable for kids and less experienced players. It's a lighthearted theme, but the game is not lighthearted. The gameplay is not lighthearted. I would have done a little bit more of a serious theme with this kind of playfield design and layout. But there's a lot packed in here. There's a lot of interesting stuff going on. There's magnets on the playfield that make the ball do weird things. It's a fun game. It's certainly not a complete failure. I do find it funny that the artwork, I like the artwork on the Pro, but the higher up things, I think the artwork gets worse and worse. This is actually it's a pretty good looking machine. Doesn't feel cheaply made. So yeah, I would say I like it, but I also can see how it's really, really a frustrating game. This will make a good game in competition, I think. Although I also feel that probably, at least with this software, there's a few tricks that the pros can use where it won't even really be fun to play. It'll just be get the playfield multipliers, get loop and supers going, and go bam, 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 and just, not fun to watch or anything. It's just a question of who flinches first in high-end competition on this game. But it's a very noble attempt. It's not one of Stern's best games. There's other games that I think I like better than this, but it's a good game. And if you get a chance to play it, go ahead and play it. I'm going to enjoy this thing more and hopefully appreciate it a little bit more. It'll definitely require me to be a little bit more disciplined with my control and make sure when I shoot I don't miss or I will pay for it. So there you have it. Thanks for watching. If you want to find out more about the videos that I'm doing, you can go to PinballHelp.com, which is where most of my reviews and all my pinball repair stuff is. And Obviously, I'm doing a Twitch stream now at twitch.tv/Mystic Crew. That's the club here in New Orleans, that our pinball music art club. You can find out more about that at mysticcrewe.com. That's mystickrewe.com. That's it. Thanks for watching.